Welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about grounding exercises to help you with your daily life. Look at that. I have a title and a subject. This is Awaken with Deb. My name's Deb or Deborah Kaye, and here on this channel we help guide you back to your soul. We help uncover all the noise. We help you understand what that feeling is inside you. That is, it feels like something's more. There's something bigger. There's something out there. There's something more for you. And what that is you remembering who you are. So there's this program I offer called a soul calibration. It was called Soulful Shift, but the shift I don't really like yes, we are shifting and we are shifting every day, whether we know it or not. But also, it's a remembering. It's not about becoming someone that we're not. And sometimes I feel like that the word shift can have that connotation. So it's a soulful calibration because we don't need to shift to somewhere that we're not. We just want to calibrate what is already here and clear out all the junk, all the programming, right? We're kind of like computers. We can remove, like, we get viruses and we have applications and programs that are outdated. We can remove those and replace them. So that's what this channel does. And today we're talking about grounding exercises. Grounding exercises are important because it seems like today everybody seems to have anxiety or overthinking or overwhelmed, and prices on everything just keep going up. The system and that feeds all of this, that is the other side of YouTube, there's there's a system that doesn't want what's best for you. There's a system that wants to use your energy to feed itself. And somehow it got overlaid with what Earth really is, which is a lesson for us to learn how to use energy and how to, and unfortunately, because of this other matrix system that has become a part of Earth, we spend most of our lives either living in this matrix and then figuring out how to get out of it and then remembering who we are. And this is going to get easier. A, it doesn't take long for people to realize what's wrong and what's right. And the newer generations definitely recognize what's right and what's wrong. They don't need church to tell them. They don't need school to tell them. They definitely don't need the government to tell them. They just know. And they know because it is the response of generations are tired of the fear and war and poverty and lack and abuse and neglect and abandonment, just all these things that, yes, they're there. And if you are a light worker, you've probably experienced these things or experiencing some of these now, and that is part of the lesson. Through experiencing all of this yuck that this matrix has, you're going to feel overwhelmed. You're going to get surges of energy as you align closer to who your true self is, who your true self is. And then as the universe and planetary systems are changing and evolving and relocating themselves, energies are speeding up, so to speak. And we've had a massive amount of solar flares coming on. And who knows about that interstellar visitor everyone is talking about? It's, your body is probably feeling very overloaded. We are also electrical systems, and we only have so much bandwidth. Our nervous system can only handle so much. And that's why awakening can actually feel so uncomfortable and like, it's a lot of energy, and you don't have to. It's helpful if you also go on the path of a healthy fitness regime, like listening to your body. You don't have to go and be a bodybuilder, but listening to your body, listening to how it wants to eat. Not everyone is going to eat the same way. And I learned that through bodybuilding. So, and um, actually, I learned that through many different dynamics. There's also the yoga way and Ayurveda ways. And just one moment. So, nonetheless, our nervous systems can feel a bit overloaded sometimes, and we need a little help. A little help is nice. Deep breaths. That's a good way to feel grounded. It can be in your belly. That last one, I don't even, my intention was not thinking of where the breath was. I think it was probably very much so in my chest, which is not ideal. But I was focused on the exhale, exhaling longer than the inhale. Doing any type of breath work in a moment is going to be super helpful. And it's helpful to practice the breath work before you're going to need it. An example is I practice breath work through yoga or in meditation. I practice breath work through a hobby called slacklining. And when I take slacklining to the next level, of which is called highlining, it really triggers the nervous system and the fight or flight mode, of which, in order to complete the task of highlining itself, I have to be able to manage my breath. Highlining is slacklining, but you're very high above the ground and you are tethered by a rope that's about the length of your leg. So if you fall the length of your leg and you can climb back up and get back on, but you're walking, and walking requires balance. It's a piece of string that will wiggle. Like I don't have anything to show you. A cord. So cord, if you pull it tight, it's tight, but as you walk on it and step on it, it dips, and then things will wiggle back and forth. And highlining is you're walking on that, and it is only 1 inch thick. So you're balancing, and it requires a lot of core strength. It requires a lot of training, and most of all, the breath and the mind is the secret to it, at least for me. If things start wobbling too much, it's my nervous system that is out of control, and I bring that back to center with breath. If I feel tightness in my body, I have to relax to allow the vibrations to transfer between me and the line, and I do that with my breath. If my mind starts to wander and it's not in the present moment of just this next step, keep the balance, keep paying attention. If the mind starts to wander, I lose the balance and I fall. I lose the breath and then I fall. So the breath, I'm still learning the microphone. The breath is so key. So I did that hobby, and then I had worked at a little cafe, and so as a barista, but also we made bagel sandwiches and homemade bread and treats. It was a bakery. It was great. It was delicious. And there was this elderly lady who came in, and I'm in the back I'm slicing bagels, right? So I have a knife in my hand, big long bread knife. And this lady comes in, she's probably 5'1" and looks like a witchy character out of a movie, just long gray hair, obviously has some mental instability, and today is not her day. I've never seen this woman before, but she was not behaving well. And I was the person of authority in the building that had to handle it. And being able to witness her energy come into the building before introducing myself into the situation, I got to watch it from behind the scenes first. And my hand with that knife was totally shaking. I could not continue slicing. But seeing it, I was like, oh gosh, I was like, okay, actually, this feels like what I experience when I'm highlining. So take in the mindset like you're highlining right now. Do your breathing, just pretend you're on a high line. And I did. And I brought my body and my nervous system back to a calm state. And I was able to go out there to the face of the business and handle the situation. I was able to, I mean, I didn't calm the lady down, but I was able to protect my employees, and I was able to protect my customers, because I mean, I think she did hit one of the older, or a well-built man, probably in his 50s. So a little woman tapping him on his arm, yes, is probably assault, but also not that big of a deal. But And then police came and it was handled. So the practice, when we practice our breath work and our meditations, we are practicing for real life so that we are familiar with the circumstance. We're familiar with our breath work. And also, when you're in the moment of fight or flight, your brain isn't in a state of, oh, what is it that I'm supposed to do? What was that exercise that we learned on the internet that one day, blah, blah, blah. Like, your brain's not going to do that. You have to train your brain to know these things by reflex. You have to know what it is by just knowing it. And so when you practice the breath works, you can just know. And usually it takes an emotion about 90 seconds to follow through. So if you practice the breath work and practice it of like 3 deep breaths and time it for however, 30-second breaths, then you know that by the time you do 3 to 4 breaths, you're going to be calm. And then you don't have to think about a timer because you've already done the timing beforehand. And so you already have this trusted tool. That was a long time to talk about breath. Next, gemstones. I know it sounds really cheesy and cliche to have gemstones and crystals and rocks, but if you're beginning this journey, it is so helpful. Having a crystal around your neck or as a bracelet that you can physically touch and rub when you're having a moment of anxiety, it helps give you an anchor. I mean, they're alive. They literally can help transmute energy as you're dealing with things. And is it kind of cheesy? Think, oh, just tiny little rock can help with this big old energy. Magic is all about your intention. And I do believe it does help. I used to be so religious about wearing crystals every day. And now I don't wear them at all. They're on my nightstand because I don't need them as a daily reminder anymore. I used them as a tool when I needed them during a transition period. And now I don't need it because I'm done practicing that. And I still enjoy them and they're still there. And that's another, that leads us into the next one. I keep pieces of earth next to my bed or through all the places I've lived. Somewhere in my home, I have a mini altar where I keep pieces of nature. And nature is what's going to ground us because we're not of earth, but we are on earth and our energy is connected to earth. So having those little reminders that you can touch and feel and see the beauty of and know that it wasn't man-made, that's amazing. And it is grounding. So taking moments to just pause with those items is huge. And the next one's very obvious, but it is getting outside barefoot on soil, on grass. People ask if concrete counts and they say it doesn't because of other chemicals in it or water barrier things in it. So, which is very possibly true. But it is made of rock, so it's better than nothing. And just breathe with the feet in the ground. It's also, if you're not on flat ground, you're going to have the little rocks poking into your feet, so you get a little bit of acupressure treatment as well. It's amazing for the body. Through the slacklining, I was barefoot all the time, so I'd be slacklining like 5 hours a day on earth. Like, I'm over earth, but you're not walking the whole time. So I'm walking on sand, I'm walking on grass, I'm barefoot on the earth, and I totally contribute that to a lot of the awakening experiences that I've had over the years because I was able to be so grounded. I would meet people and they would be like, wow, Deb, you are so grounded. Like, yeah, yeah. Because I grounded all day, every day. Every day I slacklined. Every day I was grounding in. Every day I was in the sunshine. Every day I was in the snow slacklining. I would slackline rain or shine. I think that's too close for the microphone. I am so sorry for the last 10 minutes. That was super close and loud. I need to dedicate time to figuring out this microphone. And I know I've said that before. So, what do we have so far? We have breathing exercises. We have wearing earth. We have putting your feet in earth. We have showering and bathing, water, even just drinking water and drinking it mindfully and intentionally, realizing where this water comes from, what it has to go through. to be able to reach you, for you to be able to drink it. I have a local spring here, so I will definitely fill up my water from there on a weekly basis. And I do big containers and then I drink from that throughout the week. But there's also times that I go to a local gear store and get filtered water from there. I try to not drink tap water as much as possible because there is a lot that's done to it that isn't, it's not aligned with our energies. And then probably the last one, definitely not the last or least, but the last that I'm going to mention, because this video is getting long, is movement. There are specific somatic movements, and I think I have said maybe I should do a video on that. So I need to start doing a list. More and more videos. I could do videos all day long, really and truly. I love being able to share this information here. And like there's so much information. Life is life. And there's 8 billion different stories of life out there. So there's 8 different billion viewpoints that I could run through before I could be done. It's amazing. But the last one is movement. Weather, like slacklining. That was an excellent grounding opportunity for me. There would be times I would be slacklining and somebody would come and join that maybe I was having some drama with, and my nervous system would go into fight or flight and I'd feel my body shake. And I'm like, okay. And then I would go and do some slackline or some yoga or a handstand, and that would help my nervous system calm down. The shaking would stop and I would come back to a calm state. So slacklining was great because it required me to focus on my breath and clear the mind. Yoga is great. Handstands are good and forward folds are good. Those two are really great for very specific nervous system reasons. They activate the part of the nervous system that tells it it's okay to rest and relax. So handstands, forward folds, there's some ground movements you can do with your legs, like windshield wipers with your legs when you're laying on your back, knees bent, but do it as slowly as possible. And not only so, windshield wipers would be like this, but also it's more of like this. You can do, so I guess opposite windshield wipers. Hold on, let me see. So if you're laying down and your knees are bent like this, it's okay. Knees are bent. You go one side, or no, I don't even remember. Start with your knee. Start with your knees like this. Very slowly lower them to the ground and very slowly lower them back up. And then usually when I do this exercise, I only get 2 to 3 times of going up and down. And if you're relaxed enough and really going super slow and feeling the energy into your joints and your body, your hips especially, your body's going to shake. It's going to start shaking as if you were in a fight or flight moment, and you let it shake. You stay there and you let it shake until it stops. Until it's like it's weird. The first time that I had a somatic experience, I was freaked out. I didn't know what it was, A, and B, I already have thought that I was going crazy because this information wasn't on the internet at this time. I've gone through most of my spiritual awakening without guidance. And that's why I feel so passionate about offering guidance on this, because I didn't have it. And the moment I started getting it and seeing it online and seeing people talking about it, it was so relieving and helpful to know that that help and likeness was there. And now the way they have designed AI, consciousness is linking up with technology. And so that just opens up a whole new level. So I'm going to end it there because this video is going to be 20 minutes by the time I end it. So I hope you got some value out of these tips and tricks of how to introduce grounding into your everyday life, and not only how to introduce grounding into your life, but why it's important to introduce grounding into your life. And I hope that you can, through some of the examples, you can see how it might relate into the day-to-day life benefits. You're going to be calmer. You're going to be able to handle situations with more authority, and ultimately you're going to be just more grounded, more calm, more happy, more joyful. So thank you for joining me. Make sure you like, comment below if any of this did seem valuable to you. And if you're going to go try it, subscribe so that you get notified of new videos and daily bits of wisdom. Have a blessed day. I'm Deborah Kaye.